Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my mate Matt with me. And today, we're going to talk about centers, Brandon Hagel's 3-year extension, Troy Murray news, and Kiril Kaprisov possibly going to the KHL. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody that's listening. We really appreciate it. Thank you for following us on Twitter. If you're a first-time listener, welcome to the show. And we're going to get right into it. So we've already done goalies, defensemen, and wingers, and I'm going to jump in and we're going to do centers. So most of the guys who took faceoffs last year were Dylan Strome, Pius Suter, Ryan Carpenter, Kirby Dach, and David Kampf. Now, I guess I'll read some statistics too. Dylan Strome, for instance, his faceoff percentage was 47%. So he took about 223 faceoffs and he won 198 of them. What do you got? Suter. We'll just start with Strome. Matt, he won 47% of his faceoffs, which really isn't too bad. David Kampf was at a 52%. But it seemed like they didn't really play Strome. I mean, at the beginning of the year they played Strome at the center because we had any choice. But as the year went on, he saw less and less time at center. How would you grade him at center?
D. Just because he was given a great opportunity and he did not go with it. He, we've mentioned it before. He really benefited from Taves being ill, Dach breaking his wrist, and he was put in a position to succeed, and he didn't. I think the first game he was our first line guy, and he was with DeBrincat and Kane, I believe, and I think he scored the first game. Was it?
I think he scored the first.
That was
goal,
a wraparound.
That was at like
1 minute in the game,
right?
And there was just not. It seemed like real there was no chemistry with the guys. They just weren't feeling each other. And I just don't think he's the type of player to play with Kaner and DeBrincat.
Right.
So, and, he had a very up and down year. I mean, he would score some goals, go cold another 7 games with nothing, gets healthy scratched, maybe an injury, and just too much inconsistency for what they wanted from him. And I got to give him a D.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a D-, and that's because he had this golden opportunity to play. The big dog was not in; he was not playing, and Kirby Dach was not playing, and he totally did not take advantage of this opportunity. If anything, he showed that his worth, and I don't think that he's really worth much to the team, especially of the team that we have now. So I'm going to give him a D-, even with his. What is this? 1, 2. He was third best face-off percentage on the team. So
that's not saying much.
Yeah, it's not. That's not saying much at all. So yeah, he gets a D-. Let's move off to Suter. 42% at the face-off dot, 359 face-offs lost, 266 won. I thought that he played better than what the statistics show. A lot of times when I saw him, he was winning faceoffs. So, and I thought that he just really played well. Considering he got this big deal from Detroit with these numbers, I'm actually kind of surprised. So, what the numbers show you on paper doesn't exactly show you who the player is on the ice. So, I'm going to give Suter a C+ because I think that he played well with what he had. And I haven't really seen the best of him. This is his first year, and I don't really have anything to compare it to. So I'm going to give him a C+. What about you, Matt?
I'm going to give him a B-. I thought his first season, he was a big surprise. And I know they said he was an MVP of the league. He was in before the NHL, and I thought that he showed up in some games and he was a huge factor. I think he got a couple hat tricks. I know against Detroit, one of them, his new team. But that just tells you something, though. If Stevie Y wants you, that's probably a good thing. Like you're obviously a good player because he's a pretty patient GM, and he'll pull the trigger if something's going to make his club better. And I was a little disappointed that we didn't bring him back, but thinking about it, we just don't have the room. Maybe I mean now we got Tyler Johnson. Realistically, I'd rather have Tyler Johnson than Suter. So I mean that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you gotta find a new home.
Yeah, especially when you put it, when you want to compare it to Tyler Johnson, because I mean Tyler Johnson is great right now, but I think Suter's going to come into his own in probably 2 years and have a longer career starting from today, moving forward. But it looks like Stan wants to go for it. So
what did he make? What was his money contract in Detroit? Do you know?
What is he making now?
Yeah. What did they give him?
I thought it was 3 years. I thought it was 3 years, $6 million.
Wow,
let me double check.
Okay, because that would be very high, and I don't blame Stan if it was the case. But if it was like a 3 to 4 million,
oh, I'm sorry, it was a 2-year, $3.25 million a season.
3 point. Oh, man, that's not bad. That's right where I would probably think he would be getting.
Yeah.
So Stevie Y again, another steal.
Yeah, that's great money.
Move. Yeah.
Moving on to Ryan Carpenter, he took 65 face-offs, lost 161 of them. He had a 48% at the dot. I saw him a lot playing center, but this doesn't really show the, I would probably say the impact that Ryan Carpenter had on his line. He essentially won faceoffs when he needed to win them, and he wasn't a defensive liability. I would give Carpenter, considering what he is and how he played and the line that he played on, a fourth line grinder role, I'd give him a B minus, man. I thought that he played well. He didn't make too many defensive mistakes, and he did chip in offensively time to time. Not much, but he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a B minus as well. I thought I think he played 40 games. I think he had around 5 points. But he does the small stuff, the stuff that goes unnoticed, like blocking shots, killing penalties, starting to shift off with a big hit and, getting momentum.
Starting in the defensive zone.
Yeah, and just, he, like you said, he's not going to cause goals against us. He's going to go out and, throw his body around and just work hard. Hard-working guy, character guy. These are type players you need. You need a fourth line guy that, can do all this stuff. A utility guy.
Right.
And I think a B minus is good for him. He's he's obviously not gonna ever get a big contract in the league, but he's kind of reminds me of a Marcus Kruger. Maybe not as good, but he works hard, and I'm glad that Seattle didn't grab him because I had a feeling that they might.
Really?
Just because I thought he was a better option than that Quinville guy, obviously.
I think so too.
And I mean, I think B minus C plus would be perfect for him, and I'm glad he's back with us. I think our fourth line is going to even be better. Right.
So, a little bit of the disappointment, but I think rightfully so, because considering he's coming off of a wrist surgery, Kirby Dach was 40% at the line. I remember one game he couldn't win a face-off to save his life. He went 114 for 177 of them. Kirby, I hope that it was just an injury. He said that he was having some wrist pain, so I think that could have had something to do with it too. He didn't have an off season to really work on his face-offs and then go straight into the right into the season. He got hurt in the off season last year, so it was tough to hear. But hopefully he's working on his face-offs this year so that he can grow into that number 2 and hopefully that number 1 center role in the future. I'm going to give him a C plus.
Yeah, I would give him a C plus too, but it's kind of an incomplete for
Yeah.
me. I would rather, I'd like to see him play game 1 through 82. I want to see what this kid has a full season and a healthy season. I'm not a call up or like his first year. I think we didn't know what we wanted to do with him yet. And I'm honestly surprised that they even played him last year.
I am too.
I think it was kind of a mistake, and they were asking too much. But we were desperate. We didn't have anybody. Dylan Strome wasn't getting the job done, and Suter was new, so they were hoping Doc would carry us. But it's hard to grade Doc because you see flashes of like, whoa, what a pass, like wow, he just carried the puck up and went through the whole team on that one. But he's still young. I don't think it would be fair to give him a grade yet. I think after next season, if he's playing the full season, would be fair. But I'm excited for him. There's a lot of hype with him, so let's see if he can deliver for us.
And on to our rock, and also recently signed. Where did he go? David Kemp?
Toronto.
Toronto, brutal. David Kemp was 52% at the dot. He lost 367 faceoffs and he won 410. So
it's a lot of faceoffs.
A lot of faceoffs.
And all of them were the first shift of overtime.
Yeah, they were. David Kemp, man, to be honest with you, I'm going to give him a B plus. I think that he went above and beyond. And to be honest with you, man, for his role, I'm going to give him an A minus. I think that he went above and beyond from his from what he was supposed to be. He was just be a fourth line grinder, and he won faceoffs. He shut down, he did the best that he could to shut down the other team, and he did a good job while he was out there. I mean, at one point they were practically calling him out to take every single faceoff. Then he's, trying to skate off for a break before he has to come on for another shift.
That's pathetic. Yeah.
It was brutal, and I think that he did a wonderful job. As really the only guy on the team that could win a faceoff, and I think that he played really well. I think he's definitely going to fit in on that Toronto team as a depth guy because they sorely need it up there, and I'd give him an A minus for going above and beyond duty this year.
So I'll give him an A for faceoffs, but stat wise, I'm going to give him a C minus because he didn't really.
We'll give him an all around grade because we're not giving like multiple grades.
Well, it's hard but I mean, I guess I'd have to give him a C because the faceoffs were great. The points were not good. The production wasn't there, and I know that's not everything, but did he get paid?
I don't even think that's what is. I mean, let me see.
He got paid, I think, and I think Stan wanted to let him walk because they maybe didn't want to go to arbitration or couldn't agree on anything.
Deal. I just 1.5 million.
Yeah, I know that's not much, but for a guy who's not putting up many points, it's like, wait, man, you're getting paid just for faceoffs. Like I said, if it was determined on faceoffs, hey, you got an A because our team sucked and you were the only guy that could do anything for us. But yeah, the points weren't there, and I think they were
actually zero. It's zero offensive production.
Yeah, I mean Foley was saying, "Oh, this guy can't buy a goal." It just would never go in for him, and
yeah,
he got some opportunities, but not much. But yeah, we'll give him a C, and good luck in Toronto. You're never going to win a cup because they're just not going to win. They're paying three guys too much money, and there's like David Kemp has to be like their third line center at that price. It'll never work. Just look at the Blackhawks paying Taves and Kane 10.5 a year. It just cripples teams. But now that looks cheap compared to what Toronto's doing. They're insane.
Oh yeah.
But good luck.
And honestly, we got a deal, man.
Now we do
because their 10 million deals, they didn't last very long as the highest paid. I think it was only 1 year.
And we have 3 cups. They don't have shit.
Yeah.
So it's better for us. At least we got to see 3 championships, and they're not going to even win a playoff series. I just don't see it happening. It's going to be worse and worse every season
Wow.
for those guys. I think that's just me. But look at, you're signing David Camp at 1.5 million to be a role player on that team. That's I mean, they have no other choice because the money's just, they can't fit in these guys.
Right.
But good luck.
Moving on to money, Brandon Hagel signed a 3-year extension for $1.5 million per year, which I think was a great signing. Definitely a show us what you can do kind of a deal. And I think that he's going to perform, man. I really like him. I think he's got a lot of upside. I'm high on him, and I think he's going to have a great year this year. And at 1.5 million, we got a deal.
Love the deal. 3 years, 1.5. That's crazy. It's David Camp money. I mean, and this guy could fly. I wish Vinny was here to play with him, but we'll find a role for him. He'll probably even play with better players just because speed kills. And I think that he wants to be here. He loves it here. I think it's going to work out great. And I give Stan props because he's been making some pretty good deals at fair prices. And we're not big Bowman guys, but I mean, this summer with the trades and the signings, he's done pretty good, in my opinion.
Me too. We can close off with our Stan grade, but Ooh. Troy Murray is released today that he has cancer and he's going to be fighting it. And you know what? We just want to let him know, hey man, we're rooting for you. We'll keep you in our prayers. And he's a pretty tough guy, which doesn't really matter with cancer. But I think that he's gonna give it his all, and hopefully we see him. We see him back to calling games because I think he does a great job calling a Hawks game.
Yeah, I think Troy's great. I met him at the first fan convention, and he signed Troy Murray, and he goes, Troy Murray, the original 19, just to joke around. And he talked to me and my wife and my uncle for about 10 minutes. Just a class act guy. Love the guy, and I hope he has a speedy recovery, man, because I think he'd be great when Foley's gone. I think that him and John Weideman would make good TV guys as well.
Yeah,
they're both pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think that they're great on the radio. I love listening to them, and I think it might be just a natural progression for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he'd do a great job on there.
So, Kiril Kaprisov, conundrum in Minnesota is they're trying to get this guy signed for another year, trying to get him signed to another contract, and there just seems to be some drama. He probably wants all the money in the world, but there isn't. I don't know if they don't want to give it to him. He's threatening to go play in Russia, but who wants to do that, especially at his age and how much more money he can make in America? Do you think that there's any validity to him really playing in Russia and not playing in Minnesota?
It's the Russian thing. I don't know what the thing is. You got Radulov, you had Kovalchuk do it, and they're going to go get paid. They're going to go get paid. Then they get bored, and then they want to come back. It's
because there's no competition for them there.
I know, they get bored. Learn from these guys. Radulov's done it twice. I think he was a big piece of that Nashville team back in the, I think, what was it, the early 2000s? He was on Nashville when we played him, like 2010, I think.
Yeah, he was.
And he just ditched him. He's like, I'm done. And then I'm going to come back. And then he comes back, and then he ends up going, I think, all over the place.
There was drama.
I think he's still in Dallas.
There was drama because he was coming back, and then they were trying to get him into the lineup so he could play in the playoffs, but there was something going on with that.
Yeah, that's garbage. They need to stop this. Like, if they go to Russia, they're stuck. I think they should like make a rule on that. I don't like I'm going to go to Russia. Like, Kovalchuk signs a 45-year deal. Yeah. What was it with New Jersey in like 2 years? He's like, I'm gone. That's garbage.
At $10 million a year.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Because you remember he was making a boatload of money.
Yeah, and he signed to play with Zach Parise, and I guess Parise ended up walking, and Kovalchuk's like, I don't want to be here anymore. And so he left, and it's a Russian thing, man. I don't get it, but this kid was awesome to watch this year. I mean, I hate the Wild. I think they're incredibly boring to watch. This
Yeah.
guy made them entertaining
Yeah,
to
he did.
watch.
He did. He was like just a human highlight reel.
Yeah, he was sick, and Matt Dumba's a good player, and they were like changing a little bit. They weren't the boring Wild as usual. I mean, they had some good players in their existence, like Gabrick, and I think they had Danny Heatley for a while.
Yeah, they did.
Marty Havlat went over there.
They were really shitty teams at the time, though.
Yeah, they were a boring defensive team. They had Miku Koivu, and he's just, I'm gonna shut you down, and it's just boring. And this kid would bring the franchise back to life, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know Billy Guerin, he's doing some good stuff there. He's probably trying his hardest, but I mean, he can't force the guy to want to play here though.
I wonder how much money he wants.
I heard didn't you say they were offering him like $7 million for a couple years, like a bridge deal?
I'm wondering what he wants.
He wants double digits, obviously.
Yeah. Maybe
it's
9
not
or
fair.
10 million.
There needs to be a rule for your first contract. The next contract you take has to be another 3-year deal. Then you can get paid, because these ridiculous after my entry level contracts, I'm going to get 8 years at $9 million, and then I'm going to play 2 years and want to be traded. I mean, they need to stop that.
It's interesting because let's take Dougie Hamilton, for instance. He was in Boston for like 3 to 4 years, got traded, went to Calgary. He was there for about 3 years, went to Carolina. He's been in Carolina for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, I thought he would resign with those guys. They loved him there.
2 years, and then now he's in New Jersey. How long do you think he's in New Jersey before he gets traded? I'm saying maybe 3 or 4 years.
3 years, maybe 2. Who knows? But I don't know if he says he's there to win. He's full of it because he wanted to get paid. He had a very good chance to win with Carolina. Carolina's a very good team. Jay Kahn, he's obsessed with those guys. He's very high on the Hurricanes still. And I think the Hurricanes got better. I think they got two good goalies now, Anderson and Ranta, with for Anderson, less pressure. He doesn't have the Toronto media up his butt anymore. He's in Carolina, where they probably cover the Hurricanes an hour a night, if that.
Yeah.
And watch him surprise a lot of people and come back. And Dougie Hamilton's going to be like, geez, I should have just stayed with those guys.
Yeah, I don't see the I'm going to New Jersey to win thing, because I don't think that they're anywhere near winning, especially on the East Coast.
No, in that division, like if they might have got better, but so did all the teams in front of you. So realistically, you're worse, So I think that Dougie Hamilton made a huge mistake. But you know what? He's making money. He's playing hockey for a living. He probably doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't think he does. Something we didn't get into it with Jake, but we were kind of talking about the players developing, and how young they are coming into the league, and how it's rough for teenagers to come in and play in the league. And one instance that I want to use is Jack Hughes, because he came in as a number 1 draft pick, and you know what, man, he hasn't done much. That dude is I think he's like 5'11", 170 pounds. The guy's tiny, I
think he might be shorter than that.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but that's the thing. These teams that do this, they don't have any other options. They have to throw these guys in the fire. They need the best chance they can, to win a game and be successful. New Jersey doesn't have anybody. He's like their only guy, and I think their captain is Nico Hischier, another first round pick. I'm not sure overall, but I know he was in the first round. But they're not that good either. And the goaltending, Mackenzie Blackwood, he's good, but is he going to be like the man there? I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I honestly, I couldn't watch a New Jersey game. It's the last time I watched a New Jersey Devils game was probably when Scott Niedermayer, Scott Stevens, and Marty Brodeur, Patrick Elias were on the team. I couldn't name that many players on the team.
So it's been like 14 years then.
So yeah, late 90s. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, do you got anything else for him today?
I just saw that Carter Hart signed a 3-year extension with Philly. I'm not sure if I like it. I don't know what to think about this guy. I mean, there's been like really, he's another hyped up guy. It's so hard to be a goalie in Philly. They can't find the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, since like Ron Hextall, and they've
even
probably
then he wasn't the guy.
They've probably had, since Ron Hextall, probably like 70 goalies play for them, and they just can't find the right guy. But I mean, I guess they have faith in this guy. They're hoping it works out. But he signed a pretty cap friendly deal, so hopefully it works out for him. But I just don't see it, man. I don't know what it is. I don't see, like, what do you say, like the it factor. I don't see that he's going to be the guy that takes him to the Stanley Cup.
Right. Well, cool, man. Everybody, once again, thank you for listening. We're very appreciative. Follow us on Twitter if you have not. Check out the FHN, thefhn.net. Check out the website. There's a lot of hockey news and other podcasts on there from other teams that you'll like because they're all good. And do us a favor, give us a review on iTunes. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button and tune in for the next one. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out of here.